Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. And today we finna react out the company, man. We ain't reacted to him in a minute, dog. He been putting out some heat, but I just haven't been reacting to him as of lately. But this is definitely a video I wanted to do right here. The decline of Gateway. Y'all remember Gateway? The computer company, Gateway? Y'all remember them, right? Yeah, I always wonder what happened to them because you don't see their computers at all anymore. Like their computers, like they no longer exist. That's crazy. And they used to have some computers, dog. I remember we had a Gateway computer. It lasted all the way up until I tore the whole computer apart to take parts out of it. I took parts out of it to try to see if I could build a PC or something of that nature with that. No, actually, I took it out for parts because it has some parts on there that I wanted to put on my other computer at the time, and I was learning how to put parts together with computers. Yeah, I was going through a phase in my life where I was just trying to learn shit just to be learning shit for no fucking reason. Not to have a profession on it, not to start a business. Just to be doing shit, just to be doing shit. I was going through that phase of my life because I didn't know what my purpose was. It is what it is, though. But anyway, so without further ado, let's get right into this. Yeah.
Gateway computers. Remember them? They were pretty popular for a while, long ago. That is what I call a brutally honest statement. I don't know, it's just something about it. Maybe it's that long ago tacked on at the end. I'm just saying, if I were someone from Gateway, I would feel pretty crummy after reading that. But it's hard to deny. That's a request that someone submitted for this topic, and it's not the only one. Some people watching this may barely remember them, or not know about them at all, but Gateway was once one of the largest PC makers in the United States.
Facts.
In 2004, they were behind only Dell and HP in terms of market share. And if you know anything about the PC market at that time, you would know that those two were pretty untouchable, so number 3 was realistically the highest they can hope to be.
Yeah.
The thing that many people remember about them is the cow pattern. It was kind of their thing. It was part of the logo, it was in their branding. The thing that sticks in my head is that if you ordered a new Gateway computer, it would come in a box with a cow pattern on it. Talk about unique marketing, and there's nothing else like it. I mean, it's a computer box, and I remember it from 15 years ago. And without context, it doesn't make any sense. I can't think of any possible way to relate cows and computers. That cow pattern stems from the fact that Gateway started on a cattle farm. Let me explain. Ted Waite is the main guy behind it. In 1985, at age 22, he dropped out of college and spent a few months working in a computer store. That's where he learned all about the industry and came up with a few ideas on which he felt he could build his own business. One of these ideas, it's similar to what Dell would become known for. He felt you could cut out a lot of unnecessary costs by selling directly to the consumer over the phone. Those lower costs allow the computers to be sold at a lower price, and plus, dealing directly with the customer helps build relationships. They're more likely to come back for future orders. The other idea he had was to focus on providing value to the customer. His plan was to make computers with the exact capabilities and features that people wanted, and nothing more. That way, people weren't paying for stuff that they didn't want, nor were they lacking something that they wanted. He had some cool ideas, but we have to remember, this is a 22-year-old college dropout, not in much of a position to start his own business. He got together with a friend from that computer store named Mike Hammond. Mike was more of the technical guy and Ted was more the business guy. The two of them got a $10,000 loan from Waite's grandmother and set up an office in an empty area in his family's cattle farm in Iowa. They called the business TIPC Network and started by selling add-ons for Texas Instrument computers, which turned out to be a high-demand, low-supply market. They sold over $1 million worth of them. The next year, Ted brought on his brother Norm as a partner to handle the financial end of things and changed the company's name to Gateway 2000. They later dropped the 2000 part of it. Now, considering this was 3 guys, all college dropouts by the way, starting in a farm in the middle of Iowa, They were doing pretty well, but they weren't really selling computers like they wanted, and they were still pretty small in comparison to what they would become. Something big had to happen. In 1987, they started selling computers. See, Texas Instruments started selling these new computers. Unlike the old models, these were IBM compatible, and they had a price tag of about $3,500 as long as you would trade in your old model. Ted and his crew looked at this, and they realized that they can do better. He implemented all of those ideas that he had been dying to use, and it resulted in something very similar that they were able to sell for $2,000. To promote it, they bought ads in newspapers and magazines and used the line, "Computers from Iowa," which I think is great. It's taking something that some may see as a disadvantage and embracing it, showing that everything is made in America and giving them this honest, Midwestern, hardworking type image. That's where the cow pattern stems from, which is promoting that same image. If you're selling something that's just as good as the competitor at a fraction of the price, you're probably going to sell a lot of them, which is what happened. From here, the entire company just took off. They became one of the fastest growing companies in the world. In 1987, their sales were 1.5 million. In 1988, their sales were 12 million. In 1989, their sales were 70 million. In 1990, their sales were 275 million.
Jesus
in
Christ.
1991, their sales were 626 million. And in 1992, they were 1.1 billion. They essentially went from $1 million to $1 billion in 6 years.
Damn.
In 1993, they became a public company when they sold 15% of their equity for $150 million. And Ted and his brother Norm remained equal partners, splitting the other 85%. The intention of the offering was to raise some money to further help their expansion into new products and into new countries. They were specifically concerned with Europe. In 1996, they became the first major PC company to provide the option of buying a custom-built computer over the internet. Fancy stuff. That same year, they opened these gateway stores that didn't hold inventory, but they allowed customers to go in and test the computers and maybe talk to a salesman about them. They opened hundreds of these stores within the next few years. All of these efforts caused their sales to continue growing every single year through the end of the decade. Now, on to the fall. Here's their sales for the next few years. They fell tremendously in 2001 and never made any kind of significant recovery. Their income struggled, so did their stock price. The highest price they reached in 2000 was $72 a share, and that fell down to $18 within the same year. By the end of 2002, it was down to almost $3. I can give more proof of this decline, but it's not necessary. No one's denying that it happened, and I think there's numerous reasons behind this, but let me try to highlight some of the main ones. PC market troubles. Possibly the biggest factor is that this was a bad time for the PC market. There was a higher supply of them than there was a demand, which is not good for the people supplying them. There were so many companies competing in this market now. Plus, the PCs that were being offered this year weren't impressive enough to justify replacing the old one.
Yeah, because y'all was overcharging. Man, PCs back around this place cost like $800. Shit used to cost $800, $900, $1,000. How the fuck y'all expect people to pay for these? This was expensive as fuck. Ain't nobody trying to pay for these. Unless you got good fucking credit. Around this time frame, if you had good fucking credit, of course you was gonna buy you a computer. Outside of that, ain't nobody trying to buy no fucking computer in 2001. Shit, you will wait until you would have to wait till one pop up at a pawn shop or something and try to get it for the low. That was your best option back then, was to go to the pawn shop if he was gonna try to get you a computer. You just better hope it wasn't stolen. That's the only thing I will say. You better hope it wasn't stolen. If that shit's stolen, shit. But if you had good credit around this time, you was good.
led to lower sales across the board, and bad times for Gateway. Companies reacted to this differently. Gateway took it as an opportunity to switch some focus to consumer electronics, like plasma screen TVs, which weren't very profitable, plus they mostly pulled the plug on it a few years later, so it was kind of just a waste of time. They were slow to enter the laptop business. This was in a time when laptops were rapidly increasing in popularity over desktops.
Yeah, because they were cheaper. These shits got super fucking cheap out of nowhere. Once the 2000s came, laptops became like super fucking cheap. I think these was like, I want to say the highest they was going was like 300 at the time. But you can get them for the low. You can get them for the low used or refurbished for like $150 if you went to the right place.
So obviously, as a computer company, it would have been smart to follow that trend. Well, Gateway was a little slower than most of their competitors. For example, in 2002, Gateway was selling 3.5 desktops for every laptop, while Dell was selling 2 desktops for every laptop. Dell was selling a higher percentage of laptops. Moving to California, in 1990, their headquarters had moved from Iowa to South Dakota, and in 1998, they moved it to California. They felt that it was the right thing for a computer company to do. That's just where everything's happening. They could attract better managers, the investors might develop a different perception, but that new setting helped change the culture of the company. They became less concerned with providing value to the customers and more concerned with meeting short-term goals. Ted Waite himself has said, "The thing I would definitely do over again is the whole San Diego thing. That was probably the single biggest mistake." New leadership. Shortly after the move to California in late 1999, Gateway changed their leadership for the first time ever. Ted Waite stepped down, and this new guy, Jeff Weitzen, stepped in. And we can also blame him for this culture shift, along with some strategic decisions that didn't seem to be too good. He cleared out some of the existing executive team that had been there during all of the successful years and replaced them with new people. He was also in charge when the number of Gateway stores hit their all-time high in 2000. And by the way, in early 2001, Ted Waite came back and basically reversed most of these changes. Accounting fraud. That's never good. In the year 2000, the SEC started investigating the short-lived CEO, Jeff Weitzen, along with some other high-ranking members, under suspicion that they pulled some shady accounting tricks in order to inflate their revenue and meet earnings expectations. Things were going bad, and they felt they needed to cheat a little bit to make things look better. The stock market always has bad reactions to these things, and rightfully so. The E-Machines acquisition. In 2004, Gateway bought the computer maker E-Machines in a deal that was valued around $300 million. The acquisition increased their market share and made them the third largest PC maker in the US once again, but it also caused some changes within the company. For one, Ted Waite stepped down as CEO again, and soon after ended his involvement entirely. The CEO of E-Machines became Gateway's new CEO. The two companies had entirely different approaches as to how they sold their computers. E-Machines was exclusively through third-party retailers, Best Buy, Walmart, places like that. And of course, Gateway sold directly to the consumer. That was Ted Waite's vision since before Gateway even existed. Now with Ted Waite's gone and E-Machines management running things, they switched focus. Which obviously, they were in need of something to save them, but this was abandoning one of the core principles on which the company was built. Not so sure that was a great idea. Acquisition by Acer, and the damage is mostly done by this point, so this is more just to finish the story. In 2007, Gateway was acquired by the much larger PC company Acer. The price they paid was $710 million, which was generally seen as being way too high. Gateway had lost over 98% of their value since 2000, and their shares were trading at $1.21 on the market. The acquisition price was $1.90 per share. Acer thought it was worth it to pay that premium because, in multiple ways, it helped give them an edge over their primary competition, Lenovo. Acer still owns the brand today, but it does not look like they're doing much with it. They discontinued E-Machines in 2013 and continued Gateway for a little longer, but for now anyway, I think we can say Gateway is effectively non-existent. There's so much more that can be said, but I like to think I hit on the main points. The way I see it, they should have just kept calm. Those core principles worked for years, but as soon as they ran into any trouble, it seems they completely panicked and just changed everything. New models, new products, new leaders, new locations. I think they should have taken a lesson from those Tony Hawk games. Do you know when you're in the manual and you have to adjust that arrow a little bit at a time, too big of an adjustment, and you get all unstable and fall? Actually, I suppose it's the same principle if you're actually skating, but I relate to the game better. That's what Gateway should have done. They had that arrow flying around like crazy when maybe all they needed to do was keep calm and just make those little adjustments. Gateway hasn't been relevant for, I don't know, a good 15 years now, so do you even remember them? Now, I know they weren't ever regarded as the best computers out there, but that cow design sure made them different, and their direct-to-consumer model helped them build that loyal following. So, what was your perception of them at the time, and how has that perception changed over the years? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching.
Hey man, that's hey, that's kind of sad how they went out. That's sad how they went out. They still around, I guess, but I guess they just not being marketed the way they should be. It is what it is though, because Acer is a good computer company, so they pretty much don't need. I'm pretty sure they're using like software from fucking if anything, you turn Gateway into a software company instead of a hardware company. That would be the smart thing to do. And just make them make software for the Acer computers. That would make a lot of sense if that's what they're doing. I never owned an Acer, so I wouldn't know. I've only owned Dells, HPs, and Asus. Shout out to Asus. That's the real MVP right there. Asus is the real MVP. That's the best computer, in my personal opinion, to ever exist. But I digress. Anyways, though, that just go about do it for this one, man. Oh man. Shout out to Gateway, man, for being one of those dope computer companies back in the day, but they're relevant now, so shout out to them though. Remember the good times with them. Good times. But anyways, so let's just go about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.